feel like it might be a little bit harder here, but they've got an entry route onto the point. They have an entry route onto the point. Let's see how this flank works out. He is coming around. It looks like the supports didn't manage to get on this TP, which is actually really, really unfortunate because they're going to have to make a very, very long rotation to get around here. Let's look at the timing when Lethal is going in here on this flank. So he's coming in. The Winston's pressuring in. I would actually say maybe he went slightly too early here because you see how the enemies are not quite occupied yet. Like the Winston is in, but you see this McCree and Zarya, they're not fully focused on the Winston yet. Like if he would have waited a second or two more, he could have potentially come in here and gotten this McCree with his back turned. What is going on, everybody? My name is Coach Hayes and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be reviewing a Contenders player, Lethal, who's currently playing from Rasperry Racers. If we take a look at this game, this is a ranked game. If we take a look here, we actually have a pretty stacked roster. We have obviously Lethal playing the McCree. He's playing on his account Woxic. DPS, we got a Symmetra player called Buttercup. Maybe he's going to play just the Sim TP. We have tanks, we have Winston, and we have Zarya tanks. So playing a double bubble composition here. And support line, we've got Sir Majed, also the Rasperry Racers support player. And we have the well-known top ranked player and streamer, previous professional player, Awkward. And there goes my Overwatch. I'll be back in a second, guys. And we are back. I am sorry about that. This is probably one of the reasons I don't play Overwatch anymore because my internet is terrible. Anyways, back on with the review. So, we've looked at Team 2. We're playing double bubble here. Team 1 looks like they're going to come out with some sort of brawl composition, I like to call it here. Anyways, we're reviewing Lethal. He's on the McCree. Let's see what he can do here in the double bubble composition. Enemy team, just quickly, we got Antigone, Saudi Arabian player. We got Psycho, New Kings, DPS player. Gorilla, not sure who that is. Got Deadman, I've seen the name, I'm not sure who it is. Level 1 Crook, and Poro plays. Only two faces I recognize, but I'm sure we got a couple Smurfs. And alt accounts here on the enemy team. So going to be interesting to see how the matchup kind of plays out between these two. Rush composition, they want to engage. They want to be going aggressive on the double bubble composition. Whereas double bubble composition, they want to be looking to play around these cooldowns. The bubble, the Winston bubble, Zarya bubbles, and that Doomfist engage. Right now, playing quite aggressive here on the McCree. He uses roll to get away. Trying to get some pressure down. Nice tempo there. He's playing nicely around his team's engages. And that's kind of how you need to play with double bubble. You have to be engaging when your team is going forward and pressuring, right? This comp is all about like short bursts of energy. And once you've used your cooldowns, you disengage, wait for those cooldowns, and re-engage. So he's taken a bit of an off angle here away from his team. Really good position here controlling the point. The only problem being that his damage from this kind of range, it's not that great. But he is controlling some good space here. Lucio is pushing him, decides to roll away. And his team is down too, so we're probably going to see a reset here. Yeah, he tries to get away, but I think he's dead. But is he going to flank here? It's definitely an option for him to flank right side. Oh, enemy McCree has the same idea. He was looking for a flank, but Tracer and McCree are already on that flank. They managed to get a pick on him. Doesn't realize the enemy McCree is there. Okay, comes back, gets a pick on the Tracer. Notice how he's going straight for this Baptiste here. If there's any target that he can focus, he's always going to go for this support, right? It has to be the Bap. McCree, you don't have good damage to really consistently put pressure on the enemy tanks. I mean, in this comp, he has Discord, so maybe you can make an argument that he can. But really, a lot more effective for you to be focusing down the supports. Comes through main, goes straight for the Hainu. Nice follow up on the grab. Fairly straightforward stuff, but nice. Even if it wasn't going to be effective on the grab there, he's safe to go for this, right? Because look at what he has. He's got the wall. and he's controlling all of this space, and he's following up on the grab. So really, really nice high noon there from Lethal. And he does manage to clean up the McCree and the Tracer. Okay, he's going for an aggressive pick here. He makes it work. Nice little freebie there on the Baptiste. I think we're probably going to see him reset back with his team now. Enemy Tracer knows he's there. He's already been compromised on the flank, so he's gonna go back. Gonna play with the team now. He did hear the enemy McCree walking top there. Don't know if he actually heard it. Maybe he's listening to music. This is ranked after all, and I know a lot of players, they like to listen to the tunes while they're playing. And this just shows you, everybody, this is happening in your silver games. Well, this is also happening in 4.5k rated games. Except a bit more coordination here. He gets the Zarya bubble when he goes for the high noon. So this is not just a play that happens in silver all the way up until like masters. This happens also in the top rated games in the world. Just a little bit more coordination there involved. So next time you're making that high noon play as McCree, just know that you're making a 4.5 high level play there. And if you can ask for Zarya bubble, even better. Okay, so getting a reset. Enemy Ryan's pushing forwards. You see how much more careful the enemy Ryan has to be when they're playing with a Zen. This Ryan, you know, he has to be very, very careful. Team 2 going with Nano. Lethal trying to get in through the middle here, but he's taking a lot of spam damage. Enemy McCree's flanking behind. Gonna go for this kill, I think. Ooh, really nice initiative there. Takes an aggressive role. He managed to get the flashbang. That might have been a max range flashbang there on the McCree. Really, really nice kill. Enemy Tracer scouts his position out. He's backing up a little bit. Enemy Tracer is pushing him. That's a surprise. Just flashbang. Should be okay here. Goes straight for the high noon. Gets the bat. Very nice. Oh, this is aggressive. This is really aggressive. Because he had no one with him there, really. Only reason that was like surprising for me is because he used his role to get into the fight, and that could have been dangerous. But obviously with McCree you have limited cooldowns. If you use your role to get in, if you use your flashbang, you got no way of getting away. You're completely stuck. Alright, looks like he's taking an off angle. I like this off angle. McCree's up top. Does lose the 1v1 versus the Kree there. He could have played that a little bit better. Yeah, he had the pack to use as well. I feel like he could have also used the cover a lot better here, just to avoid like some damage. Because he's kind of smack bang in the middle. When he needs the health, he has to like walk across to get to it. So I feel like he could have definitely played the cover slightly better here. Enemy McCree's gonna get away. Oh, enemy McCree got away on 1 health there. Literally 5 health. Very, very low. He's gonna go for the Doomfist rollout to come back. But I think this is looking, it's not looking too good right now for them. Oh no, he messed up the float punch. Okay. The Brawl Comp takes round 1. I'd like to see a little bit more flanking from Lethal, actually. Like, looking for some more flanks to find those angles on the enemy Baptiste. Does need to be kind of careful because they have a Tracer. But I still think he needs to try and get the pressure down, because that Tracer's mostly going to be going for Zen. Yeah, because of that Team 1 having the rush comp, having that speed boost, they are out so much quicker. Oh, they lose to Zen. This is already over. Yeah, fight 1 is just gone the way of Team 1. He just roll very aggressively there. Enemy McCree comes in with a flashbang. He managed to get the double headshot. Or sorry, gets the first headshot. It's actually kind of a strange 1v1 situation when you're fighting McCrees. In this case, he flashbangs second. And manages to get that shot down. Finding a decent up angle here. Again, using his role aggressively. I think mostly because he's taking the enemy McCree out, so he's not too worried about the McCree right now. Put some pressure on that Zarya, forcing the Zarya to disengage further away from this position. Gets a nice right click on the enemy Ryan. Puts a lot of damage down, forces the drone. I'm not a fan of this role. I'm not really a fan of this role, to be honest, because like we don't really need to roll like this. He can save this roll just in case he needs to get away, and keep like out of this Zarya's effective range, right? Like he doesn't want to go anywhere near this Zarya's effective range because she's going to be shooting him first, so he really has to stay out of that effective range. And you see here, he has 2 seconds on his roll, and how much damage he takes during that time because he doesn't have roll. He almost dies in that situation. So he uses roll in. This is hyper aggressive, extremely aggressive stuff, and somehow he manages to get away with it. Like he's just playing inside the chaos here. And goes for a cheeky little flashbang through the window. And if we think about this point, I did mention last time like he should be looking for flanks. Let's see if he can try and make flanks here, because it is kind of a tricky map to get flanks on, especially if the enemies are playing from point. And he's just been seen here by the enemy, so I wonder if they're going to scout him out. Don't know if he's been seen there, but I feel like he got seen before walking across, so the enemy should know. Enemy tracer meets him on this position. He goes for Hynun. Hynun doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me just because he doesn't have like the best line of sight here. Typically with Hynun, the way you want to use it is you want to use it in a position where you're controlling a large area of space. So if I'm using Hynun here, look at the amount of space I'm controlling. I'm controlling all of this courtyard area. I'm controlling everything aside from behind this cover, right? Because the Hynun is not able to shoot this position, and these positions behind natural cover. So Hynun is best used when you're controlling a lot of space, and in this case, he uses Hynun for Zarya. Zarya still has bubble, and he's not controlling a lot of space here. Like, there are a lot of positions the enemies can hide behind. Uses roll. He does actually mess up the roll and yeah, okay, the Hynun and the roll were the bad decisions here, because he tries to use roll to get away. I mean, the Hynun is very, very risky, and it's not in a very good position in my opinion. He uses roll to try and get away. Unfortunately, rolls into the wall. I think this is what gets him killed, really. Flashbangs Zarya defensively. He's trying to get away, but even without its Harmony Orb, he's not going to survive there. Okay, so he's setting up around main. Gets caught a little bit on the rotation back there. Playing with a symbol. This is a nice position. Enemies seem to be ignoring him, which is really, really nice for him. He has a nice flank now. He should be able to get some value here. He's in a very, very good position. Almost gets the Winston there. And he's playing aggro. I think he knows that his Zen has trance, so that's why he's playing so aggro. Then uses trance. Really, really pushing the advantage of this trance. Gets a lot of good damage down on the Lucio. Comes in. Nice flashbang on the Winston. Okay, really, really good awareness there of like tempo. He recognized that his team had the tempo. He knew that they used speed. He had trance, and he was feeling confident. And so he's really trying to push that advantage, knowing that his teammate Samajed had the trance. Ooh, nice flashbang. Goes for the pre-flash there. Flashes the Tracer, gets around the corner before she can get the recall off. And because of that Discord damage, you see how quick this poor Winston goes down. Discord is on. Headshot. Left click. Goes for the flashbang. Rolls inside the bubble because he's not afraid. Just a Winston. Takes that Winston down with the Discord. And right now they're in a great situation. They're 2 up. And the enemies are kind of just staggering back to point here. So they should be in a real nice situation. Doesn't look like... Yep. Flashbang. And there you're seeing the power of the Zen. Zen is incredibly strong. That Discord makes light work of any tank in the game. Still the same compositions out of Team 1. Both Team 1 running the Brawl composition. Team 2 still going for this Ana Zen double bubble with Sim composition. I feel like it might be a little bit harder here, but they've got an entry route onto the point. They have an entry route onto the point. Let's see how this flank works out. He is coming around. It looks like the supports didn't manage to get on this TP, which is actually really, really unfortunate because they're going to have to make a very, very long rotation to get around here. Let's look at the timing when Lethal is going in here on this flank. So he's coming in. The Winston's pressuring in. I would actually say maybe he went slightly too early here because you see how the enemies are not quite occupied yet. Like the Winston is in, but you see this McCree and Zarya, they're not fully focused on the Winston yet. Like if he would have waited a second or 2 more, he could have potentially come in here and gotten this McCree with his back turned. When you're taking, for anyone watching this, when you're taking these flanks, what you need to look out for here is when your team is in position. So the way you can do this is you can look through the wall here and just make sure your team is engaged. You can use the blue arrow icons to see if your teammates are engaging or not. If they're orange, that means they're in combat. That's a good indication of them going in. On top of that, you can also communicate. Communication is a great thing in Overwatch. If you can communicate with your teammates, that also helps a ton. Enemy Baptiste, this is also one way you can counter McCree flashbang. If you know you're going to get flashbang, you can jump right before, and that makes it hard for him to hit that headshot during while you're kind of floating while you're flashbanged. Baptiste had no clue that he was going to flashbang here, but just something to note for anyone watching this. I would actually like to see him make another flank around here, because by the time he gets to this position, he's going to have his roll almost available, so he's going to be safe. And my concern from this position is that he's just it's very risky that he's going to get booped from here by the Lucio. And as McCree, right, like we have 2 options. We can shoot the Reinhardt from the front, who's getting healed by the Lucio, who's getting Zarya bubbles, who's getting Baptiste healed, he's getting Baptiste droned. Or we can try and take an off-angle position here, where we can look for the Baptiste, where we can shoot the Baptiste in the back, potentially force the drone on the Bap. And Baptiste is an easier target for us to kill anyway, so... and there we go, he gets booped. And so, yeah, I feel like he could have made a flank there, where he found a better angle on the Baptiste. Okay, again, he's making off-angle. Definitely seems to be making a lot more off-angles on this game, which is nice to see. Gets a lot of good damage down on the McCree. McCree heard him there, I believe. That's why the McCree turned around. Yeah, the McCree heard him roll. Getting a lot of good damage down on the enemy Baptiste there. Putting a lot of pressure down. Enemy Tracers trying to contest this off angle, but he's getting so much good damage down actually. A lot of really good damage down. Antigon gives the Tracer the Zarya bubble. That was actually a clutch Zarya bubble. Some really nice Zarya bubbles here from Antigon. Ooh, he loves those, doesn't he? He loves those aggressive flashbangs. playing unpredictable. That's one way you can catch people off guard, right? If people don't expect you to do something, they're not going to be as quick to react. And so really here he's trying to use that to his advantage. We saw the previous flashbang on Night Market where he flashed before he even came around the corner because he knew where the Tracer was and manages to get that pick. And again, similarly here, he rolls forward aggressively, goes for that aggressive flashbang and manages to get the pick. Coming into the fight here with 1 up. Enemy Tracer is going to be back pretty quick. She's coming back. There she is. She's back already. Again, even though he got kind of pressured out on the previous time he tried to flank here, I think this is the best option for him. And I think he needs to keep trying this. He needs to keep trying to get it through. Because I think that's just his best option, really, for how he can put pressure here. It is definitely risky, but all he needs to do is get 1 pick. That's all we're looking for here on the McCree. Because if we compare that with coming here, it's equally risky coming from the front, because this can happen, right? You can get caught in a grab, he can get Fire Strike, he can get full energy Zarya right-clicked. Can get shattered, you know, he can get high noon. There's a lot that can come through here. Whereas when you're on a flank, sure, you take the risk of being isolated, but he also has the health pack here. And if he saves both his roll and his flashbang, he can get away, go back to that health pack, and then reassess. Gets caught in the grab here. This is not looking too great because I know that Team 1 still have drone. There comes the drone. There comes the pulse. There comes the shatter. That's a lot of ults. And there's really no surviving that one. Nano goes in. Enemy Lucio going super aggressive there. Again, the Zarya bubble comes out from Antigone onto the Lucio. Some funky Zarya bubbles here. Nice off angle here, putting pressure on the Zarya. Zarya is the only one available, so he shoots the Zarya. He does miss the flashbang on the Tracer. And if we look at the kill feed here, kind of trading blow for blow here, both teams. Does manage to get the Lucio. I think they have that advantage. Okay, they cap. He's taking a slight off angle here, looking for that position where he can pressure. Okay, his team go with Nano. His team go with Primal grab. So he doesn't really have to do a whole lot this fight, but still, I like the position he was in. In a good position where he can put pressure on the enemy Baptiste there. Oh, okay, now he's really setting up this flank. So this is where he's thinking ahead of the fight. Okay, the enemy's got rolled this side. There's a lot of thought that goes into these flanks. So the first thing is the enemy's got rolled coming this side last time. So he's placing a bet that the enemies are not going to try that again. So he repositions over to the right side. He's emoting here initially just to get some information. And he's kind of waiting. Yeah, he's listening to the sound right now. He's listening to the sound. Now, the second thing he needs to be paying attention to here is the timing. He doesn't want to go too early. So firstly, listen to the sound on when your enemies are past you. Target focus here, he wants to be killing either the Baptiste, the McCree, any squishy, but mostly Baptiste is going to be the best target for him. In terms of timing, when he syncs up with his teammates, he needs to be looking through the walls here and making sure his teammates are engaging. Now, in this situation, he's probably communicating with his team as well, so this is a situation where he can go in and follow up on that communication. I'm not a huge fan of him rolling in, because I don't think it was necessary. I don't think this was necessary. I think he could have saved roll to get away. I like the flashbang. How many does he flash there? Yeah, he could have slowly crouched his way in. He hits is that a 6-man flashbang? It's a 5-man flashbang. He hits a 5-man flashbang. Sorry, 4-man flashbang. On a lot of key targets here. And look at that damage. That follow-up. A lot of really good follow-up. But the problem being here now, he has no way of getting out. But to be honest, I don't think he cares about surviving here. I think he's just focused on following up. and making sure he has a big impact during this fight. So I like the flank a lot there from Lethal.
I need healing. I need a doctor.
Okay, he goes for the high noon. Goes for the high noon. His team using symbol. I've seen him use high noon a lot with this symbol. He definitely likes using high noon with the symbol, which is a smart idea really, because it's just it's basically an invincible shield that you can utilize from a distance. And obviously high noon doesn't care about the range. So I like this play. Not sure about the timing though. He's high nooning first when I think he should actually let the enemies in, right? Like we said before, when this is essentially a flank where he's using high noon. What he needs to do is leverage his teammates, let his teammates go, let the enemies come in first without them being aggroed on him. Because if we look here, the enemies first thing they're looking for, and first thing they see here is this high noon. Everyone sees the high noon. Antigon's coming over the wall. Psycho doesn't see it. Lucio doesn't see it. McCree sees it. Baptiste sees it. Most people from Team 1 are seeing this high noon right off the bat. And how you want to use the high noon is you want to be using the high noon once the enemies are already focused on your teammates. Again, they go with the high noon wall. They use grab as well. Sorry, the enemies use grab. And the enemies use beat as well. He does manage to get taken out on this flank here by the enemy McCree with that beat. Ooh, Samaj's pushing. Quick switch. Is Samaja gonna clutch? It's gonna be tough for Psycho. There we go. There we go. So Lethal and Samajed managed to take it down. Naru as well, my boy Naru. Okay, so overall, I would say from this game, towards the end, he was making some good flanks, some really good flanks. I personally think McCree is all about flanking when you're playing versus rush comp. Because it's kind of like the most effective way you can put pressure on the enemy BAP. If you're shooting Rhine, he's gonna be getting heals pumped into him, he's gonna be getting bubbles pumped into him, matrix pumped into him, everything pumped into him. Why not shoot the Baptiste, who has a finite health and less defensive abilities to be able to survive? Overall, I think Lethal had a good game. He's definitely an aggressive player, I can see that. He's a very, very aggressive player. But every player has their style, and it's fun to see aggressive players perform. That's going to be the end of the video for today, guys. If you are interested in getting your own personal coaching from me, go ahead and visit the link down in the description, coachhayes.com, and you can get coaching on McCree. I'll teach you how to flank. I'll teach you how to play support, tank, DPS, whatever you like. I'll get some coaching, and I'll get you to your goals. If you did enjoy this video, guys, please drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.